Hello, you lovely lot. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Genshin Impact video. And today we're here to react to two character trailers, one for Alyosha and the other one is for Odette. Now, of course, Alyosha's came out yesterday, but I decided to wait till today for it because I thought, you know what, let's do both in one shot, basically, right? We can get Odette's and Alyosha's out in one go, and we can actually get a better understanding of both characters as well and see how they might mesh well together, how they'll affect Snezhnaya as a whole and our perception of Snezhnaya as well. So I decided that let's leave it for one video and do it together, and that's what we're here to do today. We're gonna start off with Alyosha's, obviously being the 4-star of the patch, the first Snezhnaya 4-star. We're gonna get him for free as well at some point during the Archon quest as well. And generally, I think Alyosha is going to be a very interesting character because for me, Alyosha is gonna represent maybe more of the base level of Snezhnaya. And what I mean by that, the common folk, the people who know Snezhnaya in and out, you know, the wildlife, the environment, all of that sort of stuff. A character like Alyosha will be the person to go to when it comes to anything to do with that, right? Well, on the other side, you have Odette, who's going to be more of the Fatui side, right? We know that she is part of the Fatui, but also she's part of effectively the upper class, right? Being the prima ballerina of the Korolevsky theater, right? Of course, you have primo soprano with Vodyanitsa, and we'll obviously uncover her story as well, even in this patch itself, right? Before she even releases in the future, we'll know her story in this patch because of Meeting Point Quest, but Odette is going to give us the same thing as well, and probably even more so, especially leading that dual life as well. So obviously two very different individuals, two very different individuals, but giving us very important information and lore bits for, of course, Snezhnaya as a whole still. So I'm very much looking forward to both, and I want to start off with Alyosha because he did come out yesterday, so a little bit late on that front, but obviously, like I said, it was done on purpose, and I'm actually very interested to see what his trailer has in store for us. Let's read the subtext and we'll go and check out the trailer in a moment. To most people, the snow plains are probably just barren and desolate land, but in the eyes of a skilled hunter, this very same land brims with generous gifts, and all one needs is the means to collect them. So it does seem like what I was thinking about Alyosha in my predictions and just a second ago what I said is actually going to be the case, where he's the one who knows the ins and out. He's the one who knows how to get the maximum out of course, what is a harsh wintry land, right? Something that is effectively very difficult to survive in and difficult to potentially get resources for, right? Now, of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video as well, I paused it there because I realized it was just playing, so I had to pause it there, but let's play it back from the very beginning. If you guys go on to enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. If you want to see more lore content, theories, reactions, so on and so forth, do so because you'll get notified easily as to when I upload a video once you subscribe. And of course, it helps me out in the algorithm massively as well, and it's a win-win, right? We both win from, of course, you guys leaving a like and subscribing. And let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about the two trailers? Who are you more excited for from a character perspective, from a story perspective? Who are you more interested in, Alyosha or Odette? I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Anyways, let's get into it and let's check out Alyosha and see what's in store for us. Hopefully we get the doggo's name, by the way. Hopefully we get the doggo's name. Let me unmute as well. Okay. I like the background music. I like the OC.
Modification don't come cheap. If it takes skipping a couple meals to cover the cost, so be it.
Okay, so that's what I was also saying. He knows to the cost and reward of specific things.
When you're off the beaten path in Snezhnaya, knowing the local code is an important skill.
Yep, okay.
Basically an easy target. Go ahead and rock them blind.
Okay, so the doggo's name is Tugarin. Okay, that's cool, that's cool. Glad we got that name. I was hoping we'd get it. Alright, nice. Obviously, these are his abilities and stuff. Ooh, nice doggo icon there. I saw the doggo icon for just a frame at the top. Ooh, nice style there. Oh, I like that.
Hello, I'm Alyosha. I'm a hunter.
Okay.
Tugarin, don't shake.
Okay. So yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd get the name for the doggo because, well, the doggo seems to be an integral part of, well, not only his kid, but the character itself, right? Being a partner to Alyosha, and of course, being somebody who's going to probably be with Alyosha for the majority of, his story potentially. I think it makes sense to actually have him have a name. So Tugarin is the doggo's name, of course, right? This little guy, obviously very, very cool, very nice. Also, it seems like, based on this trailer and from what we obviously saw in the preview, the very first teaser we got for Snezhnaya, I remember we were on the train station or something, and we started fighting alongside Alyosha. So I wonder if when we go to Snezhnaya, we meet up with Alyosha first before we go to Snezhnograd and do all the upper class stuff and deal with the Fatui harbingers and everything, and Project Stuja and everything. I wonder if our first entry into Snezhnaya will be through Alyosha, right? It's always been the case, right? If you look at all the regions we've visited, Fontaine, I think, is the one exception, kind of, right? Because and also Mondstadt, technically, where we go to the main city immediately, right? Whereas if you look at Liyue, we got off at Wangshu Inn first, then Cimeru Gandharva Ville was the first place we went to. In Natlan, Children of the Echoes, that was where we went to first as well. Nordcry was Nasha Town, so technically that was also a big city. So I wonder if we'll go to a smaller town first in Snezhnaya, and then we make our way to Snezhnograd later on. I think it's very possible, and if that's the case, we might meet Alyosha first, and obviously he might be like our sort of guide up until a certain point, just like we've had in previous regions as well. So I'd be down for that. Of course, that'll be very, very cool, and it seems like that's how they're gonna set it up for sure. Overall, pretty cool. Exactly what I was expecting to see from Alyosha in terms of him as a character, being this guy who's basically seemingly a well-versed hunter when it comes to the environment, when it comes to the life forms in Snezhnaya. He knows his way around the block, basically. He knows his way around the block, and that's going to be super, super important, in my opinion, for us to get a better first impression of what Snezhnaya truly is like, right? So I'm all for this. Now, I think we should move on swiftly. Oh yeah, by the way, I should point out as well, OST was great, but what I really liked as well, something I need to point out, is what they did right here. I really like this sort of like red and black art style that they went for, and the cinematic effectively, and then this was also very cool, the gray and black sort of color scheme as well, sort of grayscaling it a little bit. I think that was very, very nice for sure. So that is all well and good for Alyosha. I'm really down for it. Let's check out what Odette has in store for us, and then we can kind of talk about everything as in total, basically, right? So Odette's subtext says, a farewell and extend your apology to the warm hearth and the dreams by the windowsill. For the path you are bound to embark upon leads towards the pale frost at daybreak. Okay, so with Odette, right, I put a prediction out saying that if, the relationship between Odette and La Senora was actually a very healthy one, a very positive one, and that she would have some level of affection towards La Senora, then I do feel that there needs to be a little bit of resentment and hate towards the traveler. However, some people did actually comment on my video, my predictions video, saying that what if Odette actually has a lot of resentment and hate towards La Senora for being a very harsh and difficult teacher, right? And I think that is also a very good shout, actually. And I can't believe I didn't think about it necessarily, because that could be a direction they go in as well, right? Because if you look at what the teaser had in store for us, right? Of course, we got the character teaser for Odette being a 5-star a few days ago. We did get it, and in that teaser, you could see two sides of the coin, right? One is her ballerina mother, basically her real mother, it seems like, who was teaching her how to dance and everything. And then on the other side, you have La Senora in a more darker tone, you could say, the more darker background, and she was wearing the darker dress, if I'm not mistaken, when La Senora was there, which indicates potentially her more darker side, potentially, right? And it isn't impossible that La Senora was the harsher teacher while her mother was the more nicer teacher in that situation. So if that's the case, then fair play. Then I don't think she should be mad at the traveler. In fact, she should feel a little bit of confusion. She shouldn't know how to feel, if she should feel unhappy at the fact that she's passed away, or happy, or what. Because of course, when you have such a harsh teacher, somebody who's taught you in a very difficult way. You know, I don't know if any of you guys have watched this movie called Whiplash, right? That is a perfect example of a really harsh teacher, of course, right? But I think if that's the case, then I think it's all fine. I wouldn't blame, Odette for not being mad at like Raiden or the Traveler for, you know, what they did to La Signora. But that's something that we will have to just wait and see, of course, when it comes to, actually the in-game stuff. We'll have to just wait for that for sure. Obviously the preload is out for the game, by the way. I should point that out. So there have been leaks. I've seen a lot of leaks already. Thankfully I kind of just ran past it and just ignored it, and then I started muting things, of course, right? So I missed a majority of it. The only thing I couldn't miss was, I think, something to do with Vodyanitsa, which is a little bit of a spoiler, so I'm not going to mention it, but it was only something, an image of Vodyanitsa's model, basically. So got spoiled on that, but everything else I just skipped, basically, right? Okay, so you guys might be hearing a little bit of noise in the background. It's raining like cats and dogs outside, so apologies if you can hear some faint like splashing in the background. But anyways, let's play this trailer and let's see what's in store for us. No subtitles. Okay, let's 1080p this. Okay. Wait. Who is that? Sorry, I had to go back there. Who is that? Oh, she's just tied them up. Okay. Being the Fatui member. Ooh. Oh, that isn't great. Ooh, the duality theme, of course, as we expected. I love the La Signora motifs as well, clearly used there. Oh, whoa. Yo, this is very pretty, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, this is very, very beautiful. Oh my. Jesus. Okay, you know what? Fair enough. That was very pretty. That was very pretty. Again, kind of showing her dual life in a way, of course, right? That was the whole idea behind this trailer. It seems like, along with her struggles of managing that dual life as well, right? The dual identity of being a Fatui member as well as a ballerina, of course, right? Training for two very different things. You know, you could say that they're similar in one way, that you need to have this poise, this sort of motion, fluidity about, you know, both performances, both acts, but at the same time, one requires a very different overall thing. You need more strength, more force, you could say, in one area, whereas the other one requires a little bit more finesse, more simplicity, you could say, in a different manner, effectively, right? So you can see the differences between the two roles effectively in this very trailer. And then, of course, you could see some slight motifs, I'd imagine, with the butterflies, of course, right? The red butterflies and this as well. seems like there is going to be something to do with La Senora that is going to haunt her in a way, you could say, right? So again, like I said, I would love to see that. That is something that we need to see more when it comes to Odette, is the backstory. Like, we need to know more about her backstory to kind of allow her to go and grow free and develop as well, right? Because that's the idea from behind the Meaning Point quest, right? Is the whole thing of we're managing her work life, right, based on what we saw in the stream, to kind of find an optimum path for her, right? And I hope that obviously as the traveler, we're not overbearing on that necessarily, because it's something that she needs to figure out for herself as to what she wants to do in terms of how she wants to manage this dual identity that she's got going on, of course, right? So that is going to be something very interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they manage that whole story and arc for Odette, of course. Now, in terms of the trailer itself, I think it was very well done. I love the music in the background. I think it was played extremely well. But also, just generally, I love the aesthetics of this, of the feathers blooming in a way. They're fluffing up and getting stronger and stronger. They're growing in amounts as she's gaining confidence, as she's getting older and training, of course, as well. So that, I think, was very well done. Overall, again, it's kind of falling in the same thing that we saw in the teaser, but in a bigger manner. And of course, in terms of what we already knew from the live stream, is that she's obviously developing into this character that's running this dual identity and is struggling, it seems like, definitely struggling a little bit, but of course something that she needs to work on tremendously. But yeah, overall, I'm very much looking forward to it. I loved both trailers. Both trailers exactly went the way I thought they would. Of course, I was expecting maybe a little bit more action from Odette's side, maybe in terms of like showing us exactly like her skill and normal attack string and all that, but I keep forgetting that those used to be the character demos, which are no longer a thing. They've stopped doing character demos since I think it's after Fontaine or during Fontaine they stopped doing it, and I don't know why. I like the character demos as well, but of course these character trailers are more about the story, the character's arc that we're gonna probably see in game as well, right? And so seeing Alyosha's, of course, being more of the people, the environment, the entire life forms of Snezhnaya, and him knowing about that, and that is something that I was hoping to see from him. And in Odette's case, it's all about the dual identity, the dual personality. Or not necessarily dual personality. It's not about dual personalities necessarily. It's about this dual life that she's living, right? The Fatui and being a ballerina. Difficult for anybody, of course, right? It's not an easy thing to just live this, two different lives at the same time. So very much interested to see how it all pans out come Snezhnaya. Of course, the meeting point quests for both characters are going to be something I'm very much looking forward to as well, because obviously with those two and Vodyanitsa's meeting point quest, we're going to get a special world quest as well. I wonder if it's going to do with them as a group, or if it's got to do something with Snezhnaya's history potentially. I'm hoping in their case, I'm hoping it's the former, because I'd love to see the characters develop together as well, right? Love when, they sort of form a group and they become friends in a way. Like, I know a lot of people say it's friend slop and all, a power of friendship and all that jazz, but if we're getting to a point where we're getting to the end of the story, right, and we're getting to the end game, right, you're gonna want people to be friends or at least allies going into a final fight, right? So having these sort of stories get developed and get cohesively stronger by bringing characters together and building relationships, building friendships, I think is very, very important. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What did you guys think about the trailer? Which of the two did you prefer, and whose story are you guys more interested in looking and reading? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.